Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the casting desk. I'm Odie Pixel. I'm here with Draskell, and we're ready to go with OG versus NiP. So let's get ourselves straight into the game as it has kicked off. And Andy, well, a lot of people going into this one. OG have been on a streak at the moment. The question is, can NiP put an end to it? And can they do it with the heroes that they drafted today here in Game 1?
I gotta say, I'm a fan of OG's draft. They ran something very similar the other day here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. I love their answer to heavily pressuring off lanes, right? Like NiP, they picked a Spirit Breaker, they take the Darkseer. I believe it was actually in the first two on top of that. And OG's answer is, okay, we might not necessarily have the strongest lane to contest you, but we do have Undying and Brewmaster during mid-game, which means this kind of composition that NiP is putting together now that really wants to run at you, it's going to be really tough when you're fighting into Brew split. And I think the synergy between Undying and Brew in general and not being able to really reliably kill Tombstone makes it so devastating that it doesn't really matter if you have the farm as long as you got the levels.
Oh, NiP, they want to go for round one here. Charging straight forward into Miracle, and look at the damage here with the chilling touch. Flies there in the middle of it all, and NiP, they might even be able to find more, getting the slows down to the Undying. Moves there in the middle, gets the three-man crush here. Maybe OG can find something in return with the Decay. They will. They'll find the kill onto Viper here, so 1 for 1 at the moment. Now the charge back across as well, trying to find more with the Stormhammer's there. They'll find crit on the Dazzle. 2 for 1. There's a 2 for 2. Fly still turning around. Moon, he's got another crush. Gets onto 2. The Decay as well. From Fly, it's time to stack up. Looking to chase down Hanskin. Hanskin trying to get himself out of the river. The Razors are there. They'll find themselves the third one. 3 for 2. And the question is, can OG find anything more? They're trying to chase down Arrowhead. Look at all the Decay stats. The crush again. That range. The Decay from Fly.
What's happening?
They'll find themselves a fourth one. And, well, 30 seconds into the game, Andy, it's all kicking off.
Clearly, OG are going to be coming out ahead of that. Like, no questions asked. That Undying, man, he had 6 stacks of Decay at the end of that fight. They are going to start to fade off now, though. I'm sure Fly is going to be more than pleased having level 2 at less than 1 minute into the game. It does also mean that Miracle will have somebody to help guard him a little bit, maybe. Fly decides to stick around. But this matchup, like the SF versus Viper, Viper should win the early lane, but as soon as SF hits like 3 to 5, it becomes very difficult for Limp to really hold him down at that point.
Salt lane, Moon, just playing it safe there, drops down a crush, walks it off. But I think, as you said, just even though NiP found the first kill, having 4 kills under the belt of OG is exactly what their kind of lineup is going to need to complement it. And having that early advantage and being allowed to be as aggressive as they want to be with this Undying and with the Slardar combination they've got in the top lane.
It is pretty scary to fight into, and they are committing... Okay, that's a lot of damage.
He's just going straight in with the crush, gets it onto 2, Fly's moving in as well. They're looking for Seal Kid, and if they chase this down, they should be able to just find this here. One more does it, and it will. Seal Kid's going to go down. Moon just playing on the edge of his life, going in and out with these crushes. And so far, this is definitely OG being on the same amount of form as they were yesterday.
They just understand the limits of their heroes very well. Like, they see an AA with just a Spirit Breaker, and I'm pretty sure at that point, Hanskin maybe either just at level 2 or wasn't even level 2 at that point, which means no bash because he's skilled charge for the level 1 fight. But you just walk into him. Like, what is the AA supposed to do without boots? He's 295 movement speed. That's a boots Orb of Venom Undying. You just get punched.
Oh, and we are just going to have a pause here as Era tries to realize what the hell is going on in the first 2 minutes of this game.
I don't even know what's going on.
I'm not even too sure
7
myself.
kills in 2 minutes?
Fly just continuing to go ham. He'll give it to Hanskin the old little rundown here.
Can't trade, man. Undying too strong.
And Fly's, just going to follow down. Hanskin turns around, says, you want some? I'll give it some.
He needs like 2 or 3 bashes, okay? He's just going to turn around.
And he's got Seal Kid turning up as well, yeah. Needs to be a bit careful and appreciative. Oh, no, okay, I say that. Fly's just going straight back in. He's got a tombstone here. He's level 3. Hanskin is, okay, finds one bash, but now Moon's coming forward, and Hanskin, he will get out the charge in time, gets himself back over towards the creep wave by the tower. But they've got to be careful here, NiP, against this Undying Slardar laners. Just having this amount of early advantage, the fact that Undying's been involved in all 5 kills at 3 minutes in, it's adding up here. And that's not the only thing that NiP have got to be scared of. The fact that we're seeing no-till on the Brew, we know how good the man is on this hero. We saw him yesterday have a pretty much flawless performance. I don't think he died at all, at least not until the latter portions. And well, top lane, it's still kicking off again. There'll be a charge on to win, and with the chilling switch, maybe they can find something. Stormhammer's there in the bashes as well. They'll get the kill onto the Slardar. Tombstone's been dropped down, but NiP will be able to remove it. So nice pick off there for NiP, this time managing to come out on top there of the aggressive dual lane of OG.
It's good that they're actually starting to get kills, because otherwise, having no tail bottom lane versus Yonasan fan, I think that Brewmaster's impact is going to be easier on OG than it is for, Yonasan fan getting that really good mech timing and then go into a good back wall during a team fight. There's some follow-up, I suppose. You can get a Stormhammer coming out from the Sven, and that's about it. But in general, the way that NoTail plays the brew is as soon as he has the blink, he just doesn't take farm anymore. So you're going to be looking to see Moon maybe take more of a farming role. Miracle's going to be hitting a lot of creeps as well. And you'll just have NoTail and Fly just leading the charge in team fights.
He's going to get the rune here. Crit versus Jonas and Fan. And it's going to be Jonas and Fan here with the edge. Gets the bounty rune, trying to give Crit a bit of a chase down here with the shell. He's got a surge as well if he wants to go for it. And the charge coming across from the base. We'll see if NiP can commit to this. Miracle is there, so Jonas and Fan's going to back off, and I don't think they'll follow through with the charge. It's a little bit too risky. Top lane, Moon just dropping the crush onto the Sven. They're still just trading the CS, and Hanskin, okay. Oh, he wants to go for this. And he's quite deep. He does have Jonas and Fan here as well. Oh, okay.
He's there. Okay,
there we go. He's out.
Value tango.
Some ballsy play there from NiP. Not going to find anything with it. Top lane again. There's your crush. Moon's going to look for the body block. Just to drop the tombstone. But Era's got the war cry here. We'll start to head away. There's going to be another crush here in a second. And can't get it out in time. Stormhammer comes out. There's actually going to be a pause. At the same time, Jonas and Fan did help to find a kill in the mid lane onto the Shadow Fiend. I just have a DC here from... Yeah, and as we can see, because of Dazzle's build at the moment, level 2. Hasn't got any points in the Shallow Grave.
Yeah, I think he got poisoned for the level 1 fight, right? Or did he skill heal instead? He got heal for the level 1 fight. Okay, so he actually took poison at level 2. That's interesting. I mean, I guess it's okay, but using it against a Viper as corrosive skin, he's even maxing it. I feel that's kind of weird.
Can they can Crit get the kill on Hanskin here, actually?
Yeah, probably.
I imagine the tower's going to be
He's got poison
to
touch on him.
Yeah.
You could aggro drop, potentially. Like, you could aggro drop to the Viper, and he can bottle charge you, and you can walk away. But that's pretty much the only way he lives. If he fails the tower de-aggro, then he's dead.
Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. Let's see if Hanskin can get himself out of this one. No towers on him. He's in a lot of trouble. And they do. They get it off onto him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, poison touch. Level 1. Does enough there to get themselves the kill.
Well, he is almost level 3 off that, so the next time they charge that lane, he should have Grave available, which means no more free kills there for Hanskin. It's very good awareness, though, that NiP realized that, because he had to have shown that he used the poison touch in lane. Otherwise, you just hold the skill point and make the enemy team not know if you have Grave, right? So that's nice stuff. He's actually skipping it again. He goes for another heal.
He's going full aggressive. Oh, he is, yeah, okay.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Across the map elsewhere. It's going to be a charge onto Miracle. Let's see if they're going to go fully commit for this one. Limp's moving in. He does have a Viper Strike. We'll lay it down to Miracle. The TPs are coming through, but Miracle, he's going to go down and there's no way of saving him. They'll lose the Shadow Fiend. NoTail's turned up here with the Primal Split. He's looking for Limp in the tree line. He's going to find him here. Has he got the control to take him down? He'll set this up. He's got backup coming in as well from Crit on the Dazzle. And they'll look to get the stun through, moving into position. The heal bomb as well. They'll get the clap out and they'll get the slap out. NoTail will be able to find the return across the top lane. There's a Stormhammer and a charge onto Moon. Moon's in a lot of trouble. Gets the crush out. Soul Up's there as well to heal him up. Gets himself to the sidelines. They've got the Tombstone out here. Moon just actually trying to move back in. Area's out of mana, so there's not going to be a second Stormhammer coming out. No, either way, no one's going to find a kill there on the top lane in that little bit of an engagement.
I like the way that Moon's playing this. He realizes that if the Tombstone stays alive, Era has no mana, you can go back in and potentially have enough to make this one kill.
Look at this. I mean, Moon, he tries to get the crush out on top, but he won't be able to in the controls there with the charge, the follow-up Stormhammer. They'll find themselves the kill onto Moon. So just punishing this this very aggressive positioning here of the two heroes on OG.
Maybe it's worth at this point at just like putting Fly like behind the Shadow Fiend or something. I know they're trying to give him a little bit of farm and experience, but Crit hasn't really been able to help Miracle that much. He did finally opt to put a point into Grave. I think it was kind of silly that he didn't have it before. Because if you think about it, the only stunner hero that's coming mid is a Spear Breaker, and he's not 6. So if you Grave, Miracle at the very least should always be able to TP out unless he gets unlucky and gets bashed. And it could have easily prevented 2 kills if he just had that skill.
And I think all things said and done as well, NiP, they're going to be fairly happy with how the game's gone at this point. The fact that Era, he's having a lot on his plate with Moon, and of course the Undying running at him on the top lane, but he's still finding the farm. 36 hits and 11 denies. Yep. He's not having that much of an issue at all up there.
And the Viper is out farming Miracle in mid. I mean, of course, the Shadow Fiend's always going to be able to come back. That's kind of the strength of the hero, just his ability to flash farm. But NiP actually have a very, very good start. And Seal Kid almost being level 5 at 7 minutes is much better than the other day when we saw AA, and he was super underleveled. Like, I think he got 6 at 15 minutes or something crazy like that. But this game is going to be much better. That means that Dazzle Graves are going to have to be on point. If you land a nice AA ult into a vacuum, you kind of just win that fight, I feel.
NiP have definitely got the wombo combo when they start to make the movements around the map and group up as a team. We'll see when that does begin to happen. At the moment, top lane, towards the top rune, it's just going to be Miracle grabbing himself a bounty. Also a bit of a wraparound here from the side of OG. We can see some very aggressive positioning from both Fly and Moon as they potentially look towards the mid lane. If they can set something up with a poison touch slow from Crypt, maybe they could look to dive the tower. Limp, he's got to be careful how far forward he comes, and he is being exactly that careful. Pings are coming out from the team. There's actually 5 heroes now on the side of OG, all looking towards the mid lane. They really want to try and go for this kill here. They're committing a lot of time and resources to it, though. So if they don't find it, this is going to be kind of painful for the kind of progression and the efficiency of OG here. They still have 5 heroes. They're going to commit it to a tower push.
They're just doing it because they have a catapult. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, you can time the catapult spawns and group up as 5 to just be like, okay, we're going to push the tower. Even if we don't take a fight, we have split up. We know that we can take this timing. And at the very least, we force NiP to fight us 5 versus 5, which they definitely do not want to do. You do not want to fight in the split and level 3 Tombstone at 8 minutes when you don't have AA ult available. I think if he was 6, maybe they would take the engagement. But realizing that Steel Kid's still only level 5, OG just get the free tower.
Miracle getting the money in the bank there as well. So in terms of net worth, it's Era at the top on his Sven. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of build we see coming out of the Sven. I mean, do you think he just needs to go into the tread, into the drums, which looks like he's going to get the drums next.
They need a frontliner for sure. Like
and
him
does he get a blink or does he need to go straight BKB against this lineup?
I think blink is actually solid. Okay. You could burst pretty good on most of the heroes. You can kill Dazzle, who might also be dead anyway.
Well, they've got the charge through. There'll be a nice blast coming in as well. Crit looking for the smart move and deep out, but the bashes are there. Okay. And now with the poison, Crit, he will heal up, but it's not going to be enough to save him. And again, a nice bit of play from NiP, getting themselves another kill towards the mid. Keeping it even on the scoreboard, 7 for 7. And now they're going to charge back in the mid lane for more. Looking for Miracle. They realize there's no Dazzle. The wall's being dropped as well. No-Tail turns up with the Primal Split, but they've already lost the Shadow Fiend. We'll see if No-Tail can turn this at the moment. Hanskin and Yonis fans still around in the neighborhood. Tombstone's been dropped. Hanskin getting incredibly low, trying to walk it off here with Limp and the boys, but the stun's there. They'll lose the Spirit Breaker. They do surge up Viper, but he gets tossed in the air by No-Tail. Era moving in with the God Strength, looking to try and turn. There's your Storm Ammo onto No-Tail. Can they bring it down? Yes, they can. Double kill for Yonis fan, and they might even be able to find the Undying as well. Now, it looks like they're not going to dive any deeper. They're going to play it safe as the Tombstone is still down here. But NiP still coming out on top very nicely with these trades.
Yeah, I gotta say, they are fighting toe-to-toe with OG right now, who have looked phenomenal in the last couple of days. And even outside of the DreamLeague, they haven't even lost a game. So impressive that NiP were able to field this kind of contention, even in the early game, which OG have clearly drafted for. Like Slardar, Brewmaster, Dazzle, and Undying, these heroes are built to fight.
And Moon, he needs to get back to the tower because a charge and a Stormhammer could spell disaster for the man. And yeah, he realizes will move himself into a safer position there with a sprint. And Yonis fan on this bottom lane, he's starting to rack up the gold, and I really mean it. He's top of the net worth at the moment on this Dark Seer.
Yeah, that early mech, in conjunction with having the AA Blast available, having Viper also level 6 with that max corrosive, it actually becomes very difficult for heroes like Slardar to actually go into the fight at all, because typically you want to pop sprint and you want to run at people. But if you get Viper struck with sprint on, you're kind of just dead. And if one follow-up stun comes through from either a charge or a Stormhammer, you're definitely dead. So I think NiP right now actually have a decent advantage. And also in the sense, when the Sven gets to late game, Brewmaster split is terrible against late game Sven. Because you pop BKB, Mask of Madness, and you kill them instantly. Like one crit and they're dead. So I think that OG might be on a little bit of a timer here to try to get some things done. Viper does fall off to a certain extent, but I think just between the Wombo combo and the Sven. Okay, here we go.
Can find this is going to be hard though, because there is backup here for the side of OG. An Ice Blast will fly through. Hits onto Crit. Yonis fans still hanging around here, but they're going to be able to dive and capitalize on the back of those ults hitting. OG will be fine for this time. And top lane Era just continue to push. He's got the money there for the completed drums as well. So already we've seen them having issues in the early game, killing that Sven on the top lane. And it's going to get even harder now, because this man's fairly damn tanky for 12 minutes into a game with those items.
Yeah, no kidding. Everyone on this side of NiP is going to be tanky. That's the problem. Yeah. I mean, you got the mech pretty much done. Yonis fan just has to send it out. You got that max Warcry. So that's 20 armor to everyone. I honestly think that NiP have a really good shot this game.
They're playing it really nicely.
Yep.
They really, really are. Top lane. It's going to push the lane in. Alright, getting some damage down onto this tier 1. And it's just going to be a question of what OG do in response. Now, if there's one thing that we've learned from watching the side of OG after the last couple of days, they're very good at making decisions. So I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of talk now between the team on what the next big game plan is going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see OG try and pull something big out of the bag next. Maybe even look for a smoke themselves, or at least start to play a little bit more conservatively and be very careful when they cross over onto NiP's side of the map.
I think even getting the mech timing up, like sure, Miracle's going to get it, but if Seal Kid's on point with the A blast, it doesn't really matter. And the thing is, NiP do have a decent amount of burst. They're going to smoke up here.
Yeah, this is the smoke we're talking about. See what they can find. The 3 heroes here, but Hotel jumps into the clap. Primal Split as well, looking for Limp. Hanskid says, I'm getting the hell out of there. So they'll get the Spirit Breaker out. They'll try and bail NiP, but they do lose Limp here. So OG finding a kill here onto the Viper. That's going to be it as Jonas and Fan gets himself away. So it is just one, but it's a kill nonetheless, and it's little pickoffs like this that OG need to try and get the momentum back, favoring the side of the Radiant.
Yeah, it's a decent kill. I mean, the tower was already dead, so they 3-man smoked for 1 kill. I think OG will be, I guess, satisfied, but at the end of the day, they're going to want more. Having to commit a split to it as well when they just show the Blink Dagger on No-Tail, it's like, it's okay. I think they really want to try to get some tier 1s down, though. I think OG are going to thrive.
If Era goes in on this, there is going to be backup on the side of OG, but with the Ice Blast coming down onto Moon, Moon's got to get himself the hell out of there. No-Tail was wondering if they could get themselves back in and turn, but they're just going to play it safe, let Moon head himself back. Hansken, he's not going to follow through with that charge there, will hold off. He's got level 6 now, the Spirit Breaker, so we are going to have that Nether Strike up as well. No-Tail coming around, was hoping for a room, but Hansken's going to take it from straight under his nose. And still 75 seconds until that Primal Split's back online, so... And then we'll see OG look to be kind of too urgent to jump into another fight until that ult is back online.
It's kind of crazy how much pressure OG are applying just by like not showing and moving a couple of heroes around, because every time nothing's happening, OG are always getting more out of the map, it feels, because they have a Shadow Fiend, they have a Brewmaster with Arcane, so he can also do a little bit of split farming. They're going to clap Limp, but no split, so I doubt they're going to go for that kill. Yeah, it's still a little bit shaky for OG. I think the next couple of smokes are going to be very indicative of how they do this game.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying earlier, the fact that the Shadow Fiend, Miracle, he is catching up, and, well, he's ahead now of the Sven in terms of net worth. Yeah, did just pick up the mech about 30 seconds or so ago. And now it's actually going to be NiP looking for a bit of aggression. Era, pretty much for the first time now, leaves the top lane. The pings are coming out onto the bottom. They realize Fly's on his own. They're going to lead him with the charge here. And Fly, he's in a lot of trouble here. They should have the control to bring him down before he can get anything out, and they will. Stormhammer's the backside. They'll find themselves one. Now with the Vibe Stroke and Miracle, they're looking for Ice Blast. Oh, look at the damage. No-Tail goes in as well, but he just gets melted by the side of NiP. Double kill for Jonas and Fan. And well, No-Tail, he was not wanting to jump into the middle of that, because that was not pretty for the side of OG.
If he had split, that would have been very different. It was like, I think 7 seconds on cooldown or something when he decided to go in and get the clap. He saw an opportunity for a big nuke, he went for it. It didn't quite work out. Even with the double Requiem for Miracle, it was only enough damage to take down one person. And
look at this. Let's see how many bashes he gets out into crit. He might need a few. There's the initial one with the charge. Nope. 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 Okay, no. Luck's not on his side today. Now Hansken could be in trouble. Fly trying to turn around crit as well. There's the weave ticking down the armor on Hansken, and Hansken is going to get blown up by a heal bomb. Deleted from the game of Dota 2. Ice Blast flies through, but Fly himself, he's backed up, so the Ice Blast won't quite connect onto the Undying. So they do just lose Hansken there, and a nice little turnaround there from the side of OG, finding a kill against NiP.
This is a very, very close game so far. I'm very impressed with NiP that they're able to kind of keep contending OG in this very early game. The Starkseer has invis.
Let's see if he can set something up.
Did A blast in 7 seconds.
Okay, this could be the big vacuum Ice Blast. Let's see if he can do it, Jonas and Fan. Hold the tower. There's a lot of OG here. Moon still got a bit of time on the DD. No-Tail goes through with the clap onto 2. There'll be the Stormhammer onto Fly. Era's time to back up with the Warcry, and Primal Splits come out. They're looking to try and focus down Limp, but here's the charge from Hansken. Choo-choo, straight across the fight. Ice Blast flies in. He's going to hit beautifully onto Moon and crit, and now Era pops the Ghost Trick trying to fight, but he's choked up into the air by the Primal Split. No-Tail disabling the Sven from this fight for the time being, but they've already lost Miracle. Era trying to move it onto Fly, gets the Stormhammer stun. With the help of Limp, they should be able to find the kill to Fly. No, Fly! It's almost himself. Now the crush from Moon finds 2. There's a double kill for crit. They're looking to try and find Sven as well, and they should be able to get Era. Moon just kiting it up here very well. Era still got a lot of damage there with the Ghost Trade, but it doesn't matter. There's the crush. Triple kill for crit. And now No-Tail chasing down Seal Kid, the last remaining survivor of the side of NiP, and he's wiped off the face of the earth. This time, OG reasserting their dominance, finding an effective team wipe, and only losing Miracle on his Shadow Fiend.
The difference between having Brewmaster split and not having Brewmaster split was pretty much showcased in that fight. I mean, some heroes just simply don't get to do anything. In the early game, Sven is absolutely terrible against Brewmaster because you either have Drunken Haze on you before he uses Primal Split, or you spend the entire team fight in the air. Like, those are pretty much your options. So, at this point, you kind of need to get to BKB really quickly if you're Era, I think, if you want to have some kind of influence in his team fights. Otherwise, you're just going to get crowd control to death. And they just killed Limp first, even though they kill Miracle. At that point, their damage is very burst-oriented, right? So you land like an A Ice Blast, a Stormhammer on the same target, and you have to kill. And they did, actually. They did kill him, but at that point,
They
it's
did.
like...
They killed the Miracle.
Yeah, but Brewmaster's split lasts too long. There's too much disable in it. It's very difficult to fight OG 5 versus 5 with that up.
And off the back of that fight, the fact that Moon now on the Slardar, he's managed to pick himself up a Blink Dagger, so something else that NiP have to be aware of in these fights. And he's closing on to level 11 as well, so he's going to be able to step up that armor reduction game that he's got going there with the Amplify. At 16-13, still a very close fight between these two sides, and a very exciting one as well, just in a game 18 minutes young.
The timings for NiP are going to be really key here. They're going to need BKBs for sure to be able to take these fights, and OG are also itemizing in a way like Vlad's finished up on No Tail. They want to just continually apply the pressure. They want to try to go high ground potentially. There's going to be a 10-second BKB kind of soon on Miracle. He's only about 800 away from it. And when that happens, you got to be ready if you're NiP. At the very least, I think OG are going to try to go for Roshan, maybe kill the last remaining tier 1, which is in the off lane for NiP currently. I would like to see NiP just try to get more farm on the Sven for now. Like, that's the biggest thing. If Eric can get BKB and like Mask of Madness maybe, and team fights, he will do so much work.
I mean, also worth noting as well, I don't know if this is in your eyes much of an issue, but the fact that both Era and Limp did choose to build the drums on both of the heroes, is that fine, or
I think it's
not the most efficient kind of team build, or?
I think Viper might have been better served just going straight for Aghanims, just so you can stay like farther away from the fight, but might have to hold that thought. OG coming in.
Let's see what they can find here. Weave is going to start to buff them up. Era could be in trouble. The pings are coming out. Moon leads the way. Gets the Blink Crush out. No Tails there with a follow-up Cloud. Era getting blown up by the Hill Bomb. Primal Split coming out as well. OG are going to look for more. Can they get the control here onto Hansken? They'll be able to chuck him up in the air, and it looks like the fight will continue. Tombstone's dropped onto the high ground. They'll bring Hansken down and gets the charge across. He'll actually be able to get himself out of this one. Gets himself away from the side. Moon just jumping straight into the base. Screw the tier 2. Screw the tier 3. I want to kill Sealkid, and he'll get it. The Ice Blasters come out in time, and now with the 5-strike on Moon, he's in a bit of trouble. Has got a shallow grave here being thrown out by Crit, will buy Moon some time. Turns around, gets an Amplify and the Crush as well out onto Limp, but he will still go down there on the Slardar. So NiP do find something in return, but OG, they're not happy. They're turning up the aggression, jumping straight into the base at 20 minutes in.
The other part of that team fight is Sven actually bought Blink. I kind of understand where he's coming from with the purchase. He wants to be able to jump in, find, like, I guess ideally the Brewmaster or the Dazzle. Like, those are pretty much the two best targets that you can go on. And hope that you can kill him.
He's got a mech. He's going to be fine. Limp's there. Now with the charge through, maybe NiP can try and take a fight. There's going to be a charge coming across from the top lane. Weave gets laid down very nicely by Crit, so it's going to start to build them up in terms of tankiness. Look at the Ice Blast. Look at the Ice Blast. Incoming. Catches 3 on the tip. Miracle gets out the Requiem, but Fly incredibly low. Will be Shallow Grave, though. Jonas Fan trying to back out. Will be able to surge away. Era turning up to fight the Godstrike. Look at the damage he's doing. He's chasing down Crit, though. He's being kited about. They found 2, but Moon with the crush onto 2. The charge is there. Lim's going to stay alive. Gets himself away. Now turns around. Tries to kite Moon. The surge is there as well for Jonas Fan. They'll find the kill onto the Slardar. No Tail turns up. Gets the clap slap onto the Darkseer, but they've already lost 3 on the side of OG, and they may lose No Tail as well. There's a charge from Hansken, closing the gap. They'll find No Tail here. It's a full team wipe against the side of OG, and this time it's NiP just losing 1, and it's only the Darkseer. And this game still proving to just be back and forth. Both teams showing us that they can pull a team wipe out from the backsides.
The AA Blast was huge there from Steelkid. Like, hitting those 3 was super important. Even though Era kind of got sidetracked chasing Crit around, he got juked a little bit, and then took him probably 20 or 30 seconds to take down the hero. At that point, they had already taken out Miracle. There was no split during the engagement, and that's really the difference maker right now. Because of the fact that Era didn't have BKB for the fight, it splits up. He pretty much can't go in unless you kill No Tail first. If No Tail dies before split, fight is pretty much won for NiP. But until they have the burst damage to do that, it's very tough. He is going to start going for the BKB now after Blink has been purchased. And I think OG will pretty much just smoke around No Tail's ultimate.
Yes.
If they can do that...
It's all about the split.
Yeah, if they can take fights based around his ulti, I think they will continue to do all right. But you can't give too many more of those engagements away to NiP, because the problem is, once BKB's out, the split isn't nearly as effective, because Sven can just run around in the team fight just hitting people.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's gonna run this a Miracle in. Miracle's gonna Blink out straight away, and Era says, right, I'm off. Screw you guys. He's out of the jungle. He's gonzo. But in terms of Roshan, obviously OG, they do have the Slardar with the Amplify. When are they going to go? Hopefully for their sake, not anytime soon, because NiP are hanging around with a smoke.
Oh, No Tail's in a really bad spot right now. If he's the one who gets caught first and he dies straight away, it's really bad for them. So the Grave is going to have to be on point here from Crit if he's the one who gets jumped.
It looks like they're hoping that OG look for Roshan, as we're saying. They're just waiting in position, hoping to see something come out. OG themselves have pinged on the Roche pit. But I think they know that NiP's up to something sneaky. They're not going to jump it themselves, just getting the vision there with the weave. They'll see that Roshan, he's on his own, on his bill at the moment.
Oh, Miracle. I don't know if you want to walk that way.
Are they going to jump on him? The pings are coming out from both sides.
Actually, I don't think they can jump him.
And I think what the smokes as well, that ward, I believe, just giving vision here of
Yeah.
Era. Yeah, so they know what's up OG, and they're playing it careful themselves. They're back up to the high ground. They're just going to continue to farm. It is, of course, going to be Fly looking for that Aghanim, so we talked about it. Well, the panel did in the draft, how strong it's going to be against the kind of the lineup.
They
there
smoked
of NiP.
again. Jesus. They just double smoked.
They're desperate to find something here, and they've got to do it with this one, as you said, expanding most of the smokes that they've got for the time being. It's smoke on smoke action here. OG themselves moving towards the pit. We'll see who gets the wraparound. This could be a very nice wraparound from NiP through the enemy
They got a
jungle.
great position right now.
This is a fantastic way for the NiP to enter the fight. If they go back towards Roche, but they're going to go for the long wraparound. Flying himself in the pit, OG heading up to the Ancients.
Oh, okay, now OG
NiP,
have the better position.
Yeah, they've got the high ground now. NiP, this was the long wraparound into Roche.
What's happening?
I mean, now, okay, the pings come out. The smokes ran out.
Oh,
they know what's up. And
no.
Jumps in, crush onto two. The weave gets laid down as well. Miracle with the Requiem for the sideline, reducing the damage. Oh! The fight through the wall as well. They need to get themselves out of here. The Ice Blast hits onto Fly and Miracle. The Primal Split is out, though, and OG continues to fight. Miracle getting the punches onto Hanskin with the Amplifiers, while Hanskin sticks about Moon again with the crush onto two. There'll be a Stormhammer onto Miracle. No, but there we go. Shallow Grave comes out from the Dazzle. Two down at the moment on NiP. Maybe make that even more. It's a double kill for Miracle. He takes the third one out. Only Jonas and Fan and Era are left. Era's trying to run around with the Surge, trying to chase down Fly, but Moon's still there, has the mana to go back in with potential level crush and move forward, jumps forward, gets the crush on Terra, takes down the Sven, triple kill for Miracle. Only Jonas and Fan left to run away, and he's not going to make it. The clap and the slap given to him by No Tail. And after the end of a very tense smoke on smoke bit of action, OG once again with a team wipe themselves, and they'll of course look to back up and take Roshan as well. 25 minutes in.
The biggest issue with that team fight is at the very start, Arrow was kind of trailing in the back, and No Tail managed to stop his Blink Dagger. If he was able to blink in and land a Stormhammer on that 3-man vacuum, they would have immediately won that fight. Like, no questions asked. But No Tail was on his A game, managed to catch out Arrow before he was able to get into the fight. After split wears off, there was a Drunken Haze on him. No BKB, no damage. I mean, NiP are really lacking in that department right now without the use of Arrow. So again, every time splits up, it's free team fight as long as No Tail is keeping tabs on the spend.
Okay, and bottom lane, as we saw, OG take themselves another tower. Miracle still very much staying on top of the farm game. 12k gold in net worth at the moment. It's a good 3.5k pretty much above Limp's Viper. The overall team net worth difference, though, has been up and down, but in terms of XP as well, we're starting to see OG break ahead of the pack, and it's actually going to be the 26-minute Midas here for Moon as he decides to back up onto that one on the Slardar.
I think it's one of those choices that you make when you feel confident.
Oh, Limp.
He dead.
Limp.
Yeah, mega dead.
Very dead.
But the Midas choice on Moon, I think, is actually fine, because sometimes you buy a Midas when you are confident in your team's ability to control the map, and you think that you have a good enough advantage to where, okay, we might not be able to push high ground, but we can at the very least control the enemy's movement and make sure that they're not farming effectively. And then you just wait for the Midas to pay for itself, and then you push. And OG have shown that they're okay playing that style. So, to some degree, I think it shows confidence, and I don't blame OG for that choice, and especially not Moon.
Top lane, NiP will be able to find themselves a tier 1, but they're losing a tier 2 on the bottom to the side of OG. Of course, OG going for the favourable trades. NiP is going to try and look for a tier 2 themselves, but I think OG will say, hello guys, we're going to start knocking on your back doors. You've got to get yourself back to the base here if you want to keep this lane of racks intact. Yeah, indeed, Miracle and Moon head straight up onto the tier 3. We'll see what the reaction here is going to be from NiP. They do have that wall available. 8 seconds until Limp's back up on the Viper.
They don't have a glyph. They need to actually fight this.
They need to get themselves back.
I mean, they got Guardian Greaves up too now. This could actually be a decent turn if they can just get a good vac initiation.
They've got the Aegis on Miracle, you've got to remember, for OG, and he has now got that BKB complete on top of the SNY.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
OG are actually not going to go for the racks. I think they just go for tier 2s. It's a lot harder for NiP to justify fighting around a tier 2 than fighting in their base. So it's actually a better utilization of Aegis to just take the safer towers, because that way NiP have to weigh the risk reward. Like, is it worth fighting for the tier 2, or do we just let them get the free net worth?
We'll see what OG do consider in that regard. And we've got to remember, OG, we've seen this in previous games. Even when there's the opportunity to maybe push the high ground, they'll always take the safer, the more sensible option. And as you said, just looking for other tier 2s around the map, maybe hoping to try and find a fight there with NiP, as it'll be a little bit more favorable for them rather than trying to fight NiP inside NiP's own base. And tier 2, Miracle's just going to frontline it here, just kind of seeing if NiP will take the bait, if they want to go out of the base to fight. And it looks like, as you said, NiP really want to wait until OG themselves overextend and actually take the push up to the tier 3s.
I don't know if they will yet. I mean, there's still a free tier 2 to get. I think that using an Aegis to get 4 towers is fine. Like what they pushed in tier 2, tier 3 bottom, then tier 2 mid. If they go top now, keep all 3 lanes pushed. The thing they did yesterday is they warded every single lane outside of the enemy's base when they were controlling and just prevented them from leaving the base for like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden you just win because you've accrued so much more net worth that the other team can't compete anymore. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a similar approach here, unless NiP go for like another YOLO smoke, which, given how desperate they seemed with their earlier smokes, I wouldn't put it past them to try it again. And you can even see him drawing on the map. I think they might actually just want to smoke out of base and try to catch him from the flank. Or just charge right in. All right.
Let's see what Hansken could do with this. Now the strike as well. There'll be a nice blast, the wall onto 2, and there's just Storm Hammer as well to follow up. Eric gets the God Strength, tries to start to work a Miracle, but there's the Shallow Grave coming out for the silence from Crit. It's going to force NiP back. They will pop the Aegis here. They'll be ready to go for the second round, but BKB is still available here. And Moon jumps in with the crush onto Lim. Hansken with the charge across again. Miracle pots the BKB in no tail. Now entering the fight with the Primal Split. He's going to look to try and control Lim first, and they'll take down the Viper. We'll see if they can move in for any more here. They will. They'll turn around, get the raise onto the Hansken Spirit Breaker. So it's a 2-for-1 at the moment. Now OG moving forward, looking for more. They've got the control here, holding error in place here. There'll be the buyback from Lim. Lim wants to return to this fight, try and turn it, see if they can get anything back off the side of OG. And Jonas and Fan blinking forward, trying to chase down Miracle. Miracle waltzes straight through the wall again, but he's going to be fine with this Invis rune. They don't have any detection out this far on the map, and looks like the buyback from Limp isn't going to achieve anything apart from just forcing OG to back. Maybe Jonas and Fan can find this though with Era. Chasing down Crit here in the river. Era will be able to close the gap. Weave comes out, he just uses the Storm Hammer. Crit actually gets out the Shallow Grave in time. Ice Blast flying through as well. A lot of hate coming down onto the Dazzle, and it will pay off. They'll find the kill onto Crit. So NiP do defend the base and do keep their racks at least intact.
Yeah, defense is great at this point. Like, they did have to buy back on Limp, not the greatest, but again, base is alive. I think you're going to be fine with it for now. The biggest thing here is BKB almost finished for Era. Is it going to be enough at this point? I'm kind of wondering that, because Vlad's AC done on no tail. That means you have the additional 10 armor pretty much to your entire team. You already have Solar Crest up on Crit, and they've had it for a while. They have double damage on Miracle for the next team fight with a 9-second BKB. It is going to be so damn difficult to fight into this, because even if you get a good BKB on your Sven, you're still going to have to worry about Requiem damage reduction, Weave as well. Oh, Jonas and Fan spots Miracle.
I have found Miracle there. With the charge as well, but as you said, BKB is there, DD is as well, and I think Hansken realizes he doesn't really want to go too deep for them. Here's the item that they were talking about in the draft. Undying now has got that Aghanims online, so something else that in these team fights is going to be very, very scary for NiP to fight into if they can't take out the Undying at the start. And we've already seen how tanky he is and how hard he is to bring down, especially when you factor into the fact that they've got a Dazzle keeping him alive as well.
Yeah, they spotted the smoke, by the way, under this ward, so NiP will have a good idea what's going on. I mean, the Aghanims is great for the Undying, there's no question, but the thing is, he's only level 1 decay right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like super crazy yet. It will be a lot better, obviously, the more levels that he gets. And 11 is a very long level, too. So as soon as you hit 12, you get to 14 pretty much in the same amount of experience it takes to go from 11 to 12. So his decay will be maxed, I think, in the next couple of minutes if they take a good team fight or two. Or just keep farming, whichever OG decide. But you can see, even though this smoke doesn't really do anything in the way of getting kills, look at where NiP are. They're not farming anything. 3 of them are sitting in the base. 2 of them are sitting on the side of the map. OG, I don't think, mind too much not finding anything with that smoke, because they have a good idea that NiP are at the very least not doing anything with the map either. And they don't need their smoke to be successful because they're the ones with map control. Sure, getting a pick would be great, but you know that NiP can't really fight you at the moment, so they'll just go back to just hitting some creeps.
And something else, of course, that's going to make it even harder to take down Miracle. The fact that he's got the Talisman of Evasion on him. There's obviously no sign of any kind of True Strike, any MKBs coming out in the lineup of NiP shortly. And just factor in what the Drunken Haze as well, it's going to be very hard, you know, for the side of NiP to get those hits in onto Miracle. We've already seen how hard it is for them to bring him down. So he's going to be a pretty formidable frontliner in these high ground advances when OG go for it.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I'm just really okay.
We're going to see this kick off. Yeah, the crush onto Hanscat. Look at the damage there with the Amplify. Nice vacuum wall onto 4. They've got an Ice Blast as well. The Stormhammer only onto crit. He's come out from the mecha now. They're trying to turn. Look at the damage here onto Jonas. Fan melts and gets blown up there by the heal bomb. Now with the crush on Terra, they've suddenly lost 3 on the side of NiP. And that was a bit of a panic fight there from the side of the Dire, just feeling that they needed to force themselves into a position that OG were very well prepared to take them from.
It was very close to being an even fight, though. If you imagine the Sven had been a little bit closer, gets that Stormhammer, like maybe as soon as the vac comes out instead of 2 seconds after when he was only able to hit 1 target, a 4-man stun into an Ice Blast is a really nice start to an engagement. Unfortunately, the coordination wasn't quite there, and I think at this point they're heavily relying on that. If they don't land that Wombo combo, with fresh BKB up on the starter as well, taking an engagement is going to be it's going to be a rough road.
As we can see at top lane, tier 3 starting to fall, and NiP they'll have their full roster back up in 10. And that's your fortification coming out now. It's going to be the Manta style here picked up by Limp on this Viper. And there's the tower down. Limp starting to move forward here. They've got everything bar the wall, and they don't have God Strength back online. They'll charge through onto Fly, though. They want to try and take this. Hanskin, is he going to commit? Looks like he will, going straight across the fight here onto Fly. There's your Ice Blast flying through. They'll turn around the clap. Ice Blast passes across Fly here. Fly getting low, but the Shallow Grace down. Miracle turns it around with the Requiem. Takes down Hanskin. NiP just getting forced back in. Moon just dropping amplifiers around onto the side of NiP. Jonas has to run back to base. Error just getting blown up by the hitbox. GG, well played is called. OG at the end of the day there, just finding the big fights and the big victories there in the skirmishes. And I mean, hats off to NiP for playing very well in the early to mid game, but it was just those late game decisions and late game choices of when to fight that OG came out on top of.
A couple of things about this game really kind of stood out to me. When the start of the game happened, I was talking about how good Sven can be against Brew once you have like the BKB available. I think delaying the BKB and getting a blink first was a little bit of a sign of desperation from NiP when Era decided to buy that, because he bought it right before he got picked, right? So he's like, I should just buy blink. You know, I want to try to jump in, I want to try to get a really quick priority kill, and then we take the team fight after that, or maybe he just buys it for the vacuum combination, right?
Okay.
But think of how little he actually did in the early engagements when OG realized, okay, he's super weak right now, we got split, we can go fight, we have mech available. If the AA ulti isn't like amazing, we should be able to win most fights. And that's kind of how it went. Right, and every time Split was down, NiP were like, all right, let's charge in. Let's start the fight with a Spirit Breaker. Let's try to get things going. And then they would win the fight. And then eventually, it's just not enough farm on the Sven. Like at the end of the game, he had 139 CS in a 35-minute game because there was quite a bit of action going on. He didn't really have the tools available to really carry. And between him and the Viper, I didn't really feel the impact of either core on the side of NiP. I think maybe if you go back and you give Limp something like Puck in this game, I think they would have had a really nice way to jump the Brew, and I think that's what they were lacking. They didn't have a way to kill No Tail and keep Crit busy at the same time, because they only had charge for initiation. So if you're running a team lineup like this, you have to either ban Brew, I think, in the last phase to prevent No Tail from getting it, or you have to make sure that you have some kind of secondary initiation to stop the Brew split.
I think you're bang on. And I think if, you know, NiP kind of just have a little bit of a think of what they did in game 1, a performance like that, they've got the chance to take a game, because this is the closest match we've seen with OG involved. They did.
I actually just think that
well.
OG's timing and their overall draft was really hard to 5-man against, and the Brew is pretty much the key piece here for me. If they don't have Brew, I think NiP, like any other hero, would not have had the same impact as Brewmaster.
No Tail Brew is...
It's insane.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. I think we've seen what twice over the last 2 days, at least in the games here on DreamLeague, and it's been pretty impeccable. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is just game 1 here between OG and the side of NiP. We'll be back very shortly for game 2, where we can see if NiP can step it up just a little bit more that's needed to be able to play on the same level and take a game back off OG. But for myself and Andy, we'll head you over to a quick advert break and then over to the panel. We'll see you shortly for game 2.